What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Arrival Entertainment, and today we're going to be talking about Blacklight, the new action movie starring Liam Neeson. Blacklight is the new action thriller starring the one and only Liam Neeson and is directed by Mark Williams. And in this film, Liam Neeson plays a government agent who specializes in removing operatives from when their cover is blown, and along the way he discovers this conspiracy between him and the director of the FBI that he works for, and tries to uncover the truth of all that. So guys, I had two options of movies to see this week. It was either between this movie, Blacklight, or Marry Me, the new romantic comedy that came out. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a single lonely guy. I didn't really want to see a romance movie right after Valentine's Day. So I chose Blacklight also because I'm a huge fan of Liam Neeson. I enjoy him as an actor. He's really fun in these action movies that he does. I really enjoy, for the most part, these disposable rainy day action thrillers that he makes. They're not great movies, but they're not meant to be great movies. They're just meant to be fun, entertaining, popcorn action films that you watch on a rainy Sunday and just be entertained for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I was hoping Blacklight would be the same thing. I didn't see any trailers, nor TV spots, or ads on Facebook of this movie, and I said to myself, you know what, that's okay. I don't know anything about this movie. I want to be surprised with what this movie has to offer. And I gotta say, guys, this movie honestly did surprise me. It surprised me that in this age of action films, where we have gotten great action movies like the John Wick trilogy, Mission Impossible Fallout, Mad Max Fury Road, and even last year's No Time to Die, it surprised me that we are still making shitty action movies like this that just grind on my last nerve. Blacklight is in the running with the movie I saw earlier this year, The King's Daughter, for being the worst movie I have seen so far this year. Everything that is in this film, Blacklight, is exactly how not to do an action movie. I don't even know where to start with what I didn't like about this movie, so I'll just pick something random. The story. Let's start with the story. It's convoluted. It's poorly written in every regard you can think of. I was honestly surprised that Liam Neeson took this movie based on how poorly written this movie is. A whole plot about conspiracy within the US government is nothing new when it comes to movies, yet this movie treats it like it's this new thing that has never been done in films before. Yet it's not. It's pretty much a basic thing that you can do for an action movie about some sort of secret agent or spy or government agent or whatever you want to do with it. Things just happen in this movie that are meant to affect things that happen later on in the movie, but by the time we get to that point later on in the movie, I honestly completely forgot that that was even a thing. Characters are revealed and then died, and we're meant to remember that when we get to the point later on. Like, there's characters that do die in this movie, and I honestly said to myself, oh wow, I completely forgot about that or that person. And that kind of leads me into the characters of this movie. Let's set aside Liam Neeson, because one thing you can always count on with movies like this with Liam Neeson in it is that he's going to be good in the movie, and he is good in the movie. I'll talk about him a little bit later on. But every other character in this movie is either poorly written, poor performance, or just generic. I couldn't remember a single character's name while the film was going on. Like, characters would literally say their names and I would instantly forget about it. I can't remember anything that they do in the movie, and there's no one that stands out. It all just feels like they're all cookie cutter characters just to fill the movie with characters to help Liam Neeson along. And I'll really quickly talk about Liam Neeson now, just because I want to get my one positive out of the way with this movie. He is good in this movie. He has a family issue with his daughter and his granddaughter. His daughter doesn't really trust him because of his job, and he's a very OCD person. That quirk doesn't really play into the plot. It's just something that's brought up just to give him something of a character. But he said in the movie he wasn't really a good father, but he wants to be a good grandfather for his granddaughter. So there's quite a bit of scenes with Liam Neeson and the girl that plays his granddaughter that I thought those scenes were really good. I thought they were the only bright things in this movie. And I'm not kidding. That is the only positive I have with this movie. Everything else completely fell apart. Let's talk about the action. Now, my good old friend is back in this movie. My good old friend that tries to ruin every action movie I see, shaky cam. Oh yeah, I kind of figured there'd be some in this movie, but God, I mention this all the time when I talk about crappy action movies or even good action movies that sprinkle some in there here and there, but I'll mention it again. Why is this still a thing? Why are there still directors out there that think shaking the camera every time someone fights is intense and is engaging? For the billionth and trillionth, however many time it is said, it's not. It's obnoxious. It's headache inducing. I had such a terrible headache when this movie was over. And there's a lot of quick cuts to the shaky cam too. So not only is the camera shaking every time someone fights or a chase scene happens, but the camera cuts to like 5 different angles of people running or even simple things. There's a character in a car in this scene. I'm not going to say what he does or what his place is in the movie, but it's a simple scene where he is taking a pill in a car, looking at himself in the rearview mirror, and then drinking it down with a flask. I'm not kidding, the camera cuts so many different times to this one little action that he does, and all it is, he's just sitting in the car, taking a pill, and drinking from a flask. And yet it cuts every single time on just a simple scene like that. And also something that bothered me, there's some editing choices that are just terrible in this film. This is a terribly edited movie, but the 2 things that bothered me in this film, editing wise. Number 1, the camera does that one filmmaking aspect that I truly hate whenever it's brought up. It's that handheld aspect of filming where you're watching a scene and you can easily tell it's kind of handheld, but then it slightly zooms in on a character talking or an action scene. I don't know how best to describe it besides it just slightly zooms in. I've seen that camera work done in like The Office, and I hate that style of recording. I hate it so much. I don't get what the point of it is. I don't get if it's supposed to heighten dramatic effect or what, but every time we see it, it just annoys the hell out of me. The other thing I want to talk about is I have no idea what they were thinking when they put this in the movie, but the best way I can describe it is that to heighten dramatic effect or to make things seem more intense than what they actually are, the movie literally glitches. I don't know how else to describe it but that. The movie literally glitches. Like when it first happened, I seriously thought that something was wrong with the projector at the theater, but it kept going throughout the movie. Like it seriously looks like the picture shifts, glitches, but then I realized it was part of the movie when techno effects would happen when the scene glitches, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It didn't make it intense, it just added to the headache I was getting from this movie, and I'm not kidding. Halfway through this movie, I got such a bad headache, and it was hot in the theater. I thought about leaving on more than one occasion. I said to myself, you know what? This movie's not doing it for me. This movie, nothing is working for me. I'm tired from work, I am hungry, I'm getting a headache, it's hot in this theater. I just want to go pick up dinner. But I stuck it through for the review because I'm dedicated to doing these reviews. God, I wish I would have seen Marry Me. I guarantee you that would have been a better movie than this one. So awful action, terrible characters, a horribly written script, what else? Oh yeah, the movie looks ugly. This movie looks so gray and muddy. Why? It's one of the worst looking movies I've ever seen. The music in this film sounds very, very cheap. I didn't recognize a single studio logo. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, there's a part in this movie that seemed like it was the finale. It was this big shootout in Liam Neeson's house or some other character's house. I don't even remember at this point. But it's this big shootout scene that happens, and it really felt like that was the finale of the movie. And I said to myself, okay, great, we're finally at the finale. I can finally leave because I'm not liking this movie at all. But then the movie keeps going for another 10-15 minutes, and I got so angry. I looked at my watch, and it was like 6:15 or whatever. I don't remember the time. 6:10, 15 or whatever. And I said, okay, screw this. If this movie's not over by 6:30, I'm leaving. I don't care anymore. I lost interest so much when the ending just kept going. It's an hour and 45-minute movie, but it felt like 2.5 hours. Thankfully, the movie ended shortly after that, and we got a really crappy, lackluster ending that left no impression at all. In fact, nothing in this movie left anything of an impression. I'm done talking about this movie. As you can tell, I did not like this movie at all. There is one thing that I liked about the movie. I was about to say nothing, but no, there is one thing that I liked about the movie, and it is Liam Neeson and those few scenes he has with his granddaughter. Those scenes are really good. Everything else, shit. just absolute shit. Even with Liam Neeson's other disposable action movies like The Marksman, or Honest Thief, or Nonstop, Run All Night, those movies do have entertainment value to them. It's like, yeah, those movies aren't great, you can nitpick those movies to death, but there are entertaining aspects of it. There's a lot of entertaining aspects of it, especially Nonstop and Run All Night. I have no idea what happened with this one. The director, I guess, has worked with Liam Neeson before. I need to double check that, so don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure I looked it up that he has worked with Liam Neeson before. So I have no idea what happened with this movie. This is one of the worst movies I've seen this year, and it's one of the worst movies I've seen, period. One of the worst action movies I've seen, period. You want another good example on how terrible this movie is, just in case none of my other stuff has convinced you otherwise? I'd rather watch Taken 2 and 3 than Blacklight. Those movies are shit too, but at least there's something in those movies that I can find that I liked a little bit better than anything in Blacklight. Don't see this movie. Don't go to the theater to see it. Don't rent it. Don't stream it when it comes on streaming. Just avoid this movie at all costs. And I don't usually say that with movies. I'm usually like, yeah, it's bad, but if you want to check it out, maybe you'll have a different opinion. No, stay away from Blacklight. Blacklight, as you can tell, is a walkout. Give this movie a big fat F. Nothing in this movie worked for me. There, I did my review. I don't have to talk about this movie anymore. So guys, that's my review for Blacklight. I should have gone to see Marry Me, like I said earlier, but oh well. If you guys have seen the movie, then let me know what you thought about it in the comment section. Did you enjoy this movie? Am I being too hard on this film? If you have seen it. Again, if you haven't seen it, I don't recommend it, please. But whatever your thoughts on everything is, let me know down in the comment section. And as always, guys, thank you again for watching. I'm going to be seeing Uncharted this weekend, and I'm going to try to see the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie on Netflix. I honestly forgot that movie was even coming out. So expect 2 reviews from me this weekend. I'll try to see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but definitely expect a review for Uncharted this weekend. Again, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.